students, welcome back. I am Chetan Rajoria from ABES Engineering College, Ghaziabad. So, we are discussing unit number 1 of the subject fundamentals of mechanical engineering. In the last lecture, we discussed some fundamentals of the subject like what is a force, what is force system, what is principle of transmissibility, what is Lami's theorem, and we also discussed different types of forces and the force systems. Now, in this lecture, we will discuss the way of finding the resultant of any type of force system. Especially, we will focus two types of force systems. First is concurrent force system, and second one is non-concurrent force system. So let's start. So, how to find the resultant of concurrent force system? First of all, let's recall what is concurrent force system. We discussed in the previous lecture. Concurrent force system is that type of combination of a number of forces in which the line of action of all the forces are passing through a single point. The direction may be inward or outward, it doesn't matter at all. The point is common. There will be a single point from which all the forces are passing. So if suppose the forces are not in equilibrium, means the resultant is not equal to 0. Now the force resultant is not equal to 0. So what is the magnitude? What is the magnitude? So how to find the magnitude? We will follow up this system. One of the most simplest method is that if the forces are 3 in count, only 3 forces are there, okay, or more than 3. Actually, it's hardly matters, 3 or more than 3 forces, or more than 3. Because the resultant is non-zero, in that case, we can adopt this situation. We will resolve all the forces in horizontal or vertical direction. Like this. Suppose this is the x-axis and this one is the y-axis. Okay, this is the origin. So in this method, we will resolve all the forces in this concurrent force system into the horizontal and vertical direction. There will be cos components and sine components. And we will add up all the horizontal components. So we can directly take an example. Suppose these are the 4 forces, F1, F2, F3, and F4. And this is the origin, and x-axis and y-axis respectively. This angle is theta 1. This angle is theta 2. Now I am taking the angle from vertical. This angle is theta 3. And this angle is theta 4. So just for learning point of view, I have taken 2 forces, angle of 2 forces with horizontal and the angle of other 2 forces with vertical. So we will find the summation of all the horizontal components of forces. For finding the resultant or summation, we will follow simple sign convention that left-hand side forces will be considered as positive. Right-hand side forces will be considered as positive, and left-hand side forces will be considered as negative. This is the sign convention which we are going to follow here. So in this diagram, what will be the total summation of all the forces in horizontal direction? It will be represented as sigma fx. So F1 cos theta 1, because this component will be with this angle. So the component which comes with the angle is always the cos component. So F1 cos theta 1. Now the horizontal component of force F2 will be towards left, and we are taking left-hand side forces as negative. So it can be written like this, minus F2 cos theta 2. Now let's see the third force, F3. The angle has been given with vertical. So the vertical component will be cos component and horizontal component will be sine component. And this sine component is going towards left once again for the force F3 also. So we can write like this, minus F3 sine theta 3. And similarly, we can mention the horizontal component of fourth force F4 also. It will be sine theta and it will be towards right, positive, plus F4 sine theta 4. So this is the net sum of all the horizontal components of these forces. It will be represented as sigma Fx. Now, similarly, we can find the value of sigma Fy. What is sigma Fy? The summation of all the vertical components of these forces. Let us see. F1, its vertical component will be to the upward direction. We will follow this sign convention for vertical forces. As usual for any Cartesian coordinate system like this, upward force is positive, downward force is negative. So these are the sign conventions, okay? We will follow these sign conventions every time whenever we will use the resolution of forces or we will find the sigma fx and sigma fy values. So these are the sign conventions, remember please. Now sigma fy, sorry. So sigma fy can be written as f1 sine theta 1 because this will be the sine component of force f1 plus f2 sine theta 2. Now the vertical components of f3 and f4 will be towards downside. So these two components should be negative. Minus f3 minus f3 cos theta 3 because this component will be cos component minus f4 cos theta 4. We will add up these four components and we will add up these four components. In the last, the resultant is calculated using this formula. Sigma fx square plus sigma fy square and under root on it. So under root sigma fx square plus sigma fy square. This gives you the value of the resultant and the inclination means the direction of the resultant is calculated or found using this formula. Theta is equal to tan inverse sigma fy on sigma fx. Using these two formulas, we can find the resultant magnitude and direction. So this is all about the method to find the resultant of various types of forces when the forces are concurrent. Now, what will happen when we are going to face a problem in which the forces are not concurrent? There is a non-concurrent force system. Then what we can do? Suppose this is the force system, 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are the four forces, F1, F2, F3, and F4. Clearly, we can see that this system is a non-concurrent force system. What we will do here, we will find, as usual, we will find sigma fx. We will resolve these forces in the horizontal and the vertical direction, and we will add up all the horizontal components as per their direction. Left-hand side forces, negative, right-hand side forces, positive. As per this kind of convention, we will add up all the components. Then, after that, we can also calculate sigma fy. We will add up all the vertical components. Upward side forces will be considered as positive and downward side forces will be considered as negative. So using these two values, we can find the resultant as was discussed in the previous slide. Yeah. Using the same formula, we can calculate the direction. We can calculate the magnitude. R is equal to under root sigma Fx whole square plus sigma Fy whole square. So there is no change in finding the magnitude and direction of the resultant. Tan inverse sigma Fy upon sigma Fx. But there is one change. Previously, all the forces were passing through a single point. It was a concurrent force system. Therefore, we already know that the resultant will also pass from the same point. Okay, it cannot pass through somewhere else like this, here or here. It cannot pass from some other position. Okay, the location of the resultant was already known. It will definitely pass to the same point from which all the forces are passing. But in this case, the forces are scattered at different places on the plane. In such case, we need to find the location of the resultant also. Okay, apart from the resultant, magnitude and direction, we also want to know from where this resultant is passing, the location. And for finding that location, we need a theorem which is called Varignon's theorem. So what is Varignon's theorem? It states that if number of forces are acting in a plane, that is, the system is a coplanar force system. So for a coplanar force system, the summation of moments of all the individual forces will be the moment of the resultant of those forces about the same point. Okay, so suppose there are two forces F1 and F2, or there are three forces F1, F2, and F3, and their resultant is R. So as per this theorem, the summation of moments of individual forces, that is, moment of the first force plus moment of the second force plus moment of the third force. Okay, the moments may be positive or negative. We follow a different sign convention for that. Clockwise is considered as positive, and anti-clockwise turning effect or rotating effect will be considered as negative. So sign is given to each and every term, plus or minus, to the moments also. So we will add up these different terms, the summation of moments, that will be equal to the moment of the resultant of those forces about the same point. So using this theorem, R multiplied by D, suppose D is the distance of the resultant from a particular point, is equal to F1 into D1 plus F2 into D2 plus F3 into D3 plus so on if there are more than three forces. So this is called Varignon's theorem. We use this theorem to locate or to find the distance D of the resultant. At what distance, suppose these four forces F1, F2, F3, F4, we are measuring the distance from this point. So this is the origin. And suppose this is the resultant of these forces R. So we will take moment of all these four forces F1, F2, F3, F4 about this point O. We will add up the directions, add up the moments as per their direction, clockwise or anti-clockwise. That will be equal to the moment of this resultant R. And this will be the perpendicular minimum distance. We can find this value. And as per the symbol, or you can say sign of this value right hand side, it may be positive or negative, we will put the arrowhead on this resultant. Okay, actually the resultant is given by the direction theta, but from where it is passing, from the upper side or the downside about this point O, it is decided using this symbol. It may be negative or positive. This type of problem will be discussed later, how to find the exact location of the resultant. So this type of methodology is used to find the resultant, to locate the resultant exactly on that plane in that particular type of force system. So we will take a numerical problem in upcoming lectures based on these different types of force systems, resultant of concurrent and resultant of non-concurrent force system. So ultimately, in concurrent force system, we do not need to find the location, because the resultant passes through a single point. But in case of non-concurrent force system, we need to do an additional exercise. We need to find the location also. Okay, so direction and magnitude are known as usual, but from where it is passing, for that we use the directness theorem. So that's all for this lecture. Uh, Thank you so much for listening. And in the next lecture, we will meet up once again to take another topic of the same unit, unit number 1 of the subject, FME. Thank you so much.